When people see the designs of Pokemon, they often imagine them being very large. The truth is, though, that when looking at the pokes, many of them are not as big as they first appear. The beloved Pokemon anime has been known to take liberties with some of the sizes, too, so players are often surprised to realize that a Pokemon such as Groudon is only 11 feet tall. Some Pokemon, however, are ridiculously big, and many would hurt their necks simply trying to look up at them. All of these Pokemon are easily the height of 2 or 3 people, if not many, many more. Number 39. Arbok. The Cobra Pokemon. Height: 11 foot, 6 inches. Arbok certainly doesn't look as massive as it is, unless you've forgotten how it dwarfs Jessie and James in the Pokemon anime. Like many entries on this list, Arbok is based on a snake, meaning most of its height actually comes from the combined length of its long, serpentine body. According to the pokes, Arbok doesn't take its massive size for granted, either. As of its 3rd generation entries, Arbok uses its long body to wrap around foes, tightening around them until there's no escape. Luckily, the other Pokemon on this list may be too big for even Arbok to fully wrap around. Number 38. Miraidon. The Paradox Pokemon. Height: 11 foot, 6 inches. Miraidon is a more recent addition to the Pokemon universe, serving as the mascot legendary for Pokemon Violet. One thing Miraidon fans have to boast over fans of Koraidon, the legendary from Pokemon Scarlet, is that Miraidon is over 3 feet taller than its rival. Simply put, Miraidon is the Harley-Davidson to Koraidon's Schwing bike. Of course, Miraidon fans might not appreciate its massive size since it spends most of Pokemon Violet in low-power mode as players ride it around the Paldea region. Still, how many other Pokemon on this list can boast of being ridden by players? Number 37. Walking Wake. The Paradox Pokemon. Height: 11 foot, 6 inches. Walking Wake doesn't look so massive until you see it paired next to a trainer in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This Paradox Pokemon appears to be a prehistoric version of Suicune, with a much more vicious and draconic design, sporting a much larger mana. Compared to the iconic Suicune, Walking Wake is almost double its size. However, what Walking Wake has in size over Suicune, it lacks in Serene Grace, and we're not talking about the ability. Nevertheless, Walking Wake certainly takes the cake as one of the best designed Paradox Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. Number 36. Gouging Fire. The Paradox Pokemon. Height: 11 foot, 6 inches. Like Walking Wake, Gouging Fire takes a prehistoric look at one of the most iconic legendary Pokemon, Entei, a member of the legendary beasts from the 2nd generation. Gouging Fire is the exact same size as Walking Wake, but both of them are dwarfed by the 3rd member of their trio, Raging Bolt, with its massive neck. Gouging Fire, again like Walking Wake, is twice the size of Entei. However, this Pokemon's existence also brings into question the long-standing theory that Raikou, Entei, and Suicune are revived forms of Jolteon, Flareon, and Vaporeon as the legends go, but perhaps these Paradox Pokemon are just simply what those evolutions looked like when they were first saved. Number 35. Kyurem. The Boundary Pokemon. Height: 11 foot, 10 inches. Kyurem was first introduced in Pokemon Black and White, described as a dragon that either came from outer space or was formed from the leftover carcass of the original dragon that split into Reshiram and Zekrom. Fortunately, Kyurem got to be center stage in Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, where this latter theory was seemingly proven by its ability to fuse with either mascot legendary. Compared to its original form, White Kyurem and Black Kyurem stand much taller, but the tallest of the trio is White Kyurem. It's not that surprising, all things considered, given that Reshiram is a taller Pokemon than Zekrom even when they are not fused with Kyurem. Hopefully one day players will get to see how big the original dragon was for it to make 3 already massive Pokemon.
Make sure if you're enjoying our list to hit that like button and of course subscribe for future content.
Number 34. Naganadel. The Poison Pin Pokemon. Height: 11 foot, 10 inches. When the 2-foot-tall Poipole was introduced in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, no one probably expected it to evolve into the monstrously huge Naganadel. This Ultra Beast played a significant role in the anime, as Ash briefly owned a Poipole that evolved into one before returning to its native dimensions through a wormhole. Its size is even acknowledged in one of its Poke's entries, which claims that Naganadel stores hundreds of liters of poisonous fluid inside its body. Given that the Pokemon weighs over 300 pounds, one can only imagine what it would be like to have all that poisonous fluid exerted in one move. 33. Regigigas. The colossal Pokemon. Height: 12 foot, 2 inches. The legendary giants seem to be much larger than they actually are, though the only two who stand taller than 5 feet are Registeel and Regidrago. The exception is Regigigas, their normal type leader introduced in the 4th generation games. However, the really impressive stat isn't Regigigas' height, just over 12 feet, it's the weight. As it turns out, the 12-foot-tall Regigigas weighs an astounding 925 pounds, making it among the heaviest Pokemon in the series. It's hard to imagine just how heavy the Pokeballs players use to catch one of these Pokemon has to be. Number 32. Ho-Oh. The Rainbow Pokemon. Height: 12 foot, 6 inches. For the first legendary Pokemon to appear in the Pokemon anime, one would expect Ho-Oh to be a little taller. However, it's dwarfed in comparison to Lugia, its rival mascot. At 12 feet and 6 inches, Ho-Oh is far from small, but it's nowhere near the largest legendary Pokemon in the entire franchise. However, size may not matter when it comes to this legendary bird, as its Poke's entries claim that it bestows eternal happiness on any trainer who sees it. As long as it keeps leaving rainbows wherever it goes, fans can overlook its slightly disappointing size. Number 31. Xurkitree. The glowing Pokemon. Height: 12 foot, 6 inches. For an ultra beast that looks oddly like the Team Skull leader Guzma, Xurkitree has a surprisingly impressive height. It stands at an equal height to Ho-Oh, though the electric-type Pokemon shouldn't be confused with the graceful bird. According to its Poke's entries, Xurkitree is one of the more dangerous ultra beasts. Apparently, the electrical currents surging through Xurkitree are the norm in its universe, but in the Pokemon world, it could overpower an electrical plant. Thankfully, its defensive stats aren't all that, so opposing trainers should have no problem fighting it off. Number 30. Sandaconda. The Sand Snake Pokemon. Height: 12 foot, 6 inches. It might seem confusing to place Sandaconda on a list of the largest Pokemon, but the ground type from Gen 8 is more than meets the eye. Because of how coiled up it is, it can be hard to tell just exactly how long its body stretches for, but the Poke's claims it extends to over 12 feet tall, passing the heights of some significant legendary Pokemon. Its Gigantamax form is even more massive, stretching to 72 feet tall as it becomes a huge dusty cyclone. Its Poke's claims that Sandaconda uses its long body to fire off sand like a shotgun, carrying over 1 million tons of sand in its body, which frankly seems hyperbolic.
Okay, so that's it for today. So if you enjoyed it, punch the like button, comment down below, of course, subscribe to the news channel for my Twitter and Instagram links down below. As always, of course, I'll put my TubeBuddy first in the description for YouTube needs, tag titles, thumbnails, all that good stuff. So that's something you need help with, especially like I did. First in the description, download it today. Trust me, you'll wonder how you ever got on with it. And of course, for our partner channels, and hit down below, hit that join button to put myself and the channel, and of course get a huge range of benefits. Be greatly appreciated, but of course, you never have to. But if you don't, you have to subscribe and watch the next video, or something might follow you home. You never know, stuff happens. Okay, thank you very much. I'll see you all again very soon.